Hello, I'm a career consultant, and a client of mine came up to me the other day very disappointed. I asked her what was wrong. She said that she had gone on a couple of interviews and she was very discouraged because she had gone on, I believe, 4 or 5 interviews and was not getting any calls back concerning offers. She said that she had a gut feeling that there was something terribly wrong in her presentation. Well, what did I do? I sat her down and proceeded to ask her a series of questions. The first question I asked was, well, did you research the companies? She said, I did a little research about the location and how many employees that they had, but I never went into depth with the research. So I did very little research. So my next question I asked her was, when you got to the interview, did you take notes? So she said, oh no, I wouldn't take notes because I wanted to be focused on what the interviewing panel was saying. And I wanted to give my undivided attention. I felt that if I had taken notes, I would have missed something. So the next question that I asked her was, did you ask relevant questions pertaining to the job? She said, no, I just asked the usual questions such as time, work time, benefits, the number of employees I'll be working with, and whether or not the particular company had a parking space and things of that nature. But I never asked questions strictly pertaining to the job. My last question to her was, well, did you follow up after all the interviews? She said, no, I didn't follow up because they all had promised me that they will be back in contact with me real soon. So I felt that there was no need to follow up after they said that to me. So I said to her, well, I am glad you're here. Now that we tried the interviewing process your way, let's try it the 5 o'clock club's way. At the 5 o'clock club, we think and act like a consultant during an interview, meaning that we probe for specific questions and try to find solutions to work out. We probe for specific questions and we try to find solutions to work out their problems. When you act and think like a consultant, your main goal is to go in, find out what's wrong, and fix the problem. With that being said, when you are taking an interview and acting and thinking like a consultant, the first thing you do is research the company. You research the company to get a feel of what type of company you are interviewing for, what's the mission and the goals of the company, and anything that you feel that will use you to help determine a decision and to help them fix their problem. So 1, that you research the company. 2, when you act and think like a consultant, you take plenty of notes. You bring index cards to the interview and you more or less come in and write down everything that they're saying to you so you can get an idea of what type of job they're talking about, so you more or less can help then frame it. And then also, by taking notes, you are able to keep everyone on schedule. And you are always able to go back and say and make a statement that something was said prior because you had taken notes. So, number one, always research the company. Number two, take notes. Number three, a consultant always asks relevant questions to get a feel of what type of job they're actually applying for. And they always offer solutions. By that, I mean, by thinking and acting like a consultant, they go in and ask questions like, what's the goal of the company? What's the organizational chart look like? Who's doing what at what position? How many people handle this situation? How many employees handle that situation? What's the real problem that's keeping you from reaching your goal? What are your missions and goals? And they ask relevant questions pertaining to the job so they can get a feel of what type of job they're applying for. A consultant also gives advice and says things like, oh, well, in our company, we had a situation where there were a lot of job responsibilities, and we realized that had to be handled by more than one person. So we decided to hire one specific person to do these job duties. So always throw out advice and ask relevant questions. Also, always assure the hiring manager that you're there to get the job done. Please assure them that you're there, that you hired the right person, and you're there to make sure that the job gets done. By thinking and acting like a consultant, you research the company. You go in being ready to take notes. You ask relevant questions pertaining to the interview. And you assure the hiring managers that you're there to get the job done. And last but not least, you follow up. With that being said, the 5 o'clock club approach is not there. We're at the way the 5 o'clock handles the situation, they're not there to actually get the first offer. They're there to build relationships and to be asked back at a second interview. So, with that being said, you take away everything that you gathered, all the materials and everything that you gathered at the interview, and you come back and you fix the problem and work on the problem and offer a solution. One example of the way a consultant may handle things is to say something like, well, at our company, we had a big problem with management. They didn't like our policy because they felt that this particular program we were working on was not reaching a lot of people. So I put a focus group together, and we came up with the 3 best choices that that pertains to how we can fix the problem. So the focus group had a team of 6 to 8 members, and we selected the best 3 approaches. Out of the 3 approaches, we went on and we decided to choose one. This particular one had the best marketing piece. So we hired a contractor to help us develop that marketing piece to reach over 500,000 managers. That took about 2 weeks, and then we presented it to the executive board, and it was well received. So those are the type of examples that you use when you are at an interview to a hiring manager. So when you think and act like a consultant, you research the company, you take notes, you ask relevant questions, you assure the hiring managers that you're there to get the job done. You follow up, you give advice, and you offer solutions and ways that you will do to fix the problem. And in closing, the interviewer and the interviewer and you are more or less on the same page. So if you can help the interviewer frame the position that suits both you and the hiring manager, then I am pretty sure that you are on your way to a job offer. Thank you so much for your time.